everybody. Welcome to Digging into the Language of Mathematics. I am so excited that this course has finally come together. It's something that's been in my mind for so many years, and I feel like I'm finally ready to tackle it. As a language person, we hesitate a little with math, but it's been a long time in the making. So let me give you a little background about why I'm so excited about this. If we go back to 2011, I was hired as an ESL instructional specialist for a school district in Maryland, and it was also the first year that Maryland was joining the WIDA consortium. So I'm brand new and intercoming new standards, new assessments, and all of this new, right? So lucky for me, I got to start fresh with the new information. Lucky for me also, I was coming back to Maryland from North Carolina, where we had been using the WIDA standards for a couple years. So I had a little bit of time to get ready ahead of the others. So we had this team meeting, all of the ESL teachers, and one of the first times I had to get up and present to them. And the coordinator asked me to present about the standards and especially about the language of math because he felt that folks would be uncomfortable on that topic. So absolutely, I get it. I was uncomfortable about that too. We always talked about language in language arts. We worked with the reading teachers. We worked with the language arts teachers. We pushed into reading blocks. But now we have language science, language social studies, language of math. Like what do we do with that? And so I know it's going to need to be broached a little gently. So we talked about how this is really, as ESL people, what we've been waiting for. Was it really elevated our importance and our role because we were saying now that language is a part of every content area. And so the ESL people aren't just the language people and they stick with the reading team and that's the only people they work with. Now we had some backing to say that everybody needs to be paying attention to language and that we're the people to help you. So work with us, right? This is what we've been waiting for. And so we talked about language and being a language teacher. And then we talked about language of social studies, language of science, language of math, and that teaching the language of science or teaching the language of math is different from teaching science and math. Now, of course, you need to integrate them. Of course, they're related. Of course, it's within context. But there is a difference. And so we walked through some of that, trying to explain, giving some examples. Here's what it might look like if you were pulling a group and you were focused on the language of math. Here's what it could look like if you were pushing into a class during the math block and you were supporting instruction in math and you were supporting the language for your students while they're in the math classroom. So I could see some hesitant faces. I could tell people were like not loving this. Some were enthusiastic and were waiting for this to finally be validated officially. But I would say that was the minority. Some were feeling willing but hesitant, and others had a look like, not buying it, not sure. So we just tried to end it gently and say, this is a long haul. This is the first year. Just be open to the ideas. You may be asked to support in math or science or other content areas other than language arts. And so you have to be open to that because that word is getting out that now we have standards we have to fulfill and we have to have opportunities to do that. So just know that if you're asked, please reach out, let us know. We'll be there to help you. We'll work it through. And felt like it ended on a pretty positive note. So here's the full disclosure. Then it's break time. We go on break, and the meeting was happening in one of those buildings that school systems use for professional development that used to be an elementary school. And now they use it for professional development offices in the auditorium. And so the bathrooms are set up like elementary school bathrooms or just school bathrooms. So of course, I quick run to the restroom to do a quick break before we come back and get ready for the next part of the meeting. And, here's the picture in your mind in the stall, right? Getting myself together, ready to thinking about what's happening next. And of course, other people are coming in and washing their hands and chatting and waiting their turn. And the conversation is, I'm not doing it. I don't care what she says. I'm not a math teacher. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And a couple other people agreed. Me either. They can forget that. That's not happening. Like it, the math teacher can do that. The math teacher can teach the language of math. That's not Esau. I don't agree. And then we had some other people who were like, well, now it is ours because it's in the documents and we have to follow the standards like anybody else would follow the standards. And there was a bit of a debate going on, and there was much more vocal pushback in that setting than there had been in the meeting. And so it was very awkward. I was like, I don't want to walk out in the middle of that. I don't want people to be embarrassed. They should be able to vent their frustrations and their fears. This was the first time, and I'm new, and so I stayed in there for like 10 minutes and waited till everybody cleared out of the bathroom. And then I rejoined for the end of the break. So that story, like that picture, has been in my mind since 2011, right? 10 years of thinking about how do we get over that fear of math for language teachers. Many of us have had a fear of math. How do we clearly explain the difference between teaching math and teaching the language of math? What are some ways that the ESL or language teachers can be most helpful with helping students to be successful in math? How can we be the most help and support to math teachers? And help them look at what they do from a language point of view. As in supporting math teachers, what can I share with math teachers that will, the reaction from math teachers sometimes is, I can barely teach what I'm supposed to teach now. And now you want me to teach the language? And I get that, like everyone was feeling super overwhelmed. So we've spent 10 years working on the messages and working on the ideas and researching strategies and reading all of the research and following certain key players in language development and math who always share good ideas. And so this course is a compilation of that 10 years of thinking hard about how to make language of math not intimidating to anyone, whether it be the math side that's intimidating or the language side that's intimidating, how to model collaboration as best possible within the realities of the worlds we work in our schedules, and how to empower everyone that no matter what content you're teaching, whether you're the language, the science, the math, the art, music, PE, computer, whatever it is that you're the teacher of, that you feel confident in your content area and how language impacts your content area. So that is my hope for you in this first course and through the entire pathway. In this first course, we're going to start with some solid foundations, some background, build into some easy to apply right away strategies that can help your students access the math instruction and math curriculum better. And then as we move through the pathway, we'll get deeper and deeper into looking at language in math and analyzing our math materials, analyzing our conversations, and how to get students really engaged in math and in the language of math. I'm so glad you joined us. Let's go.